God is life. Life is always saying yes. So when I ask, life says yes. For life to say no to your request is to contradict itself. For God to say no to your prayer, to your request, is to contradict itself.
What you call yourself or where you come from, yeah. There is a place in this world with open arms right now. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community.
Yes. Welcome to this place. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, and good day to you wherever you are at this very moment in time. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Being You, the journey back to yourself. And especially thank you for tuning in and listening and giving yourself permission to be transformed. I am Ade, your transformational agent. Today I'm feeling quite transformational in an interesting kind of way. And it's been an interesting last few days for me. And the format today might be different from how I normally do it, because what I'm feeling inside of me, I'm feeling it very strong. I'm feeling it in my heart. I'm feeling it in my body. And there's a sense of rebelliousness to where I am, the space, the place that I'm in. There is a sense of freedom, of liberation. There is also a sense of fuck it. So you're going to hear all of that, maybe not, but I know I'm feeling it. But I'm sure that the things that I do share today is going to be wrapped up in the energy of all that I'm feeling. Not that that's not the case in the past, but I'm just feeling a little bit more. I don't know how to describe it, so I won't try and describe it. I'm just going to share. And the theme for today, the topic for today is unattached attachment. That's what I'm feeling. I feel unattached to my attachment, unattached to the attachment to my work. I feel unattached to my attachment to want humanity to be what I think, what I see, what I know we can be. I want to lay a foundation here. I am coming from the place that God is all there is. When I say God, I'm not talking about a man in the sky that's watching everything that we're doing and checking off a list saying, oh, good job, bad job. Oh, more bad than good, you're going to hell. I don't believe in that crap. And I'm telling you my experience. If you believe in that, so be it. Because not only do I refuse to believe in the idea in other people's story about being loved unconditionally, yet God, the divine, the universe, usually they say God, they don't even talk about the divine or the universe. This God being loves you unconditionally. However, you must do what it tells you to do. You must follow its, his condition is what they say. So when I say God, I'm talking about something that's beyond description. For me, God is life, the capital L, life. It is the life that is moving in and through every one of us. It is the life that is breathing us. It is the life that was here before I was born, before you were born, before time was time. And this life will continue to be no matter what happens to planet Earth. Whether we care for it or not, life will continue to be life. It will continue to revolve and evolve into whatever it wants to experience itself as. Then there's the saying where God is all powerful, all knowing, everywhere evenly present. So if God is all powerful, there is no other power. If God, I want to stay with the word God because I really, because it gets sometimes watered down when I know why I use the divine intelligence, source, life, whatever, Father, Mother, God. But I want to stay with God today, maybe. I'm not promising anything. I am unattached to my attachment to what I really want to do or what I don't want to do. If God is all powerful, then there is nothing outside of God. There is nothing else, really, that is as powerful as this God. So I don't have to worry about my ego mind. I don't have to worry, not that I do, worry about this thing called the devil. I don't have to worry about somebody doing something to me if I am in alignment with God, if I have my personal connection, personal relationship with God. Apologies for the sound at the beginning, but I think I've rectified that. And I really do think the sound was a reflection of where I am. So, talking about God being all powerful, if God is all powerful, then what am I afraid of? Especially if I am one with God. Now, there's no point going there, but I'll say if you believe you're separated from God, I get that. So you feel like you have to do something for God to approve of you or disapprove of what you're doing. But for me, I'm going to come from where I'm at because that's the only thing that's important to me today. At this very moment, what is important is to speak my truth. So I am one with God. God is all powerful. Then I have nothing to fear. God is all knowing. If God is all knowing, there is nothing about my life that this Godness does not already know about me. There's nothing that is yet to happen that I need to worry about, or what path that I am on that's going to lead me on the wrong path because the God as me already knows. The God as me is like the GPS or maybe even the satellite that's looking down. I don't want to say that, but I'll use that. No, I don't want to say that. I want to say it has a connection to me in this physical body. It knows what everything looks like, the directions, the path. God knows all things, and I am one with God. Then I know all things, not my lower limited thinking self, but the part of me that is beyond definition, my intuitive self, my inner vision, my higher self that's tapped in, that is not moved by what's going on in society. God is everywhere evenly present. So even in the midst of my mistakes, even in the midst of your mistakes, God is there. Even when you are screwing up, God is there. Even when you're doing something you know you believe you shouldn't be doing, God is there. And of course, when you're doing the things that are in alignment with what you believe, God is there. And I also believe, or let me say it this way, which is really the same thing. I align with the truth that God can only do for you what God can do through you. God can only do for me what God can do through me. What that means is whatever I desire, whatever you desire to see, whatever you want, whatever you need, however you want to qualify it, you can have it. You just got to be willing to be the channel for what you're asking for. If you understand and accept and align with the truth that you and God are one, then when you're asking, you know that it is your responsibility for the manifestation to be open, to let go of things of the past, old way of thinking, limited thinking, behavioral patterns that are not in alignment with what you're asking for, that are not in alignment with what I'm asking for. So when I ask, I am told, we are told that we receive. And I know in my soul that God always says yes. God is life. Life is always saying yes. So when I ask, life says yes. For life to say no to your request is to contradict itself. For God to say no to your prayer, to your request, is to contradict itself. Then there's a school of thought where we say, you must be the change you want to see. Which really is the same thing, that God can do for you what God can do through you. Whatever you're asking for, whatever you're praying for, you must be it. There must be a sense of integration as you think about it. You power it with your heart. You align your heart and your mind together. The mind and the heart becomes the feminine and the masculine. And you can birth your prayer, your request, your solution. Last week, my podcast, the title was, what are you pregnant with? Every time you have a thought and you integrate it with your heart, you fertilized an energetic egg in your consciousness. Now, I'm going to stop there. There are many ways I can go. But there's a certain point that I want to make. But what I just shared with you is to let you know where I'm coming from and why I feel what I feel. So I've been growing through a lot in the last few weeks. And I tell people I am in this conversation. I'm always praying, visioning, talking to God, asking questions, looking at areas of my life that does not reflect what I know to be true. Looking at areas of my life that seems to be consistent. It's like, why am I still dealing with this? Looking at myself when I'm looking for confirmation, affirmation from others. When I really just can feel myself seeking approval, it's like, what is this about? Not that there's anything wrong with it. We can say there's something wrong with it, but there really isn't. Because me seeking approval and being able to recognize that I'm doing that with my awareness, I can kind of see, what is that about? That's empowerment. Self-empowerment is about observing yourself, discovering yourself, investigating yourself, if you will. Get curious about who you are and how you're showing up, what is causing you pain, what is causing you to be frustrated. So I've had enough frustration in my life in the last few weeks that it got my attention. And the thing is, Everything is connected. Where I am right now is a combination of everything that I've been feeling, thinking about in the past. I can even go as far as saying a combination of my whole life up until this point. So, let's make it personal, or let's make it in a way that most people can relate to, that you can relate to. So there's this whole thing about Donald Trump taking us to war, starting World War III. There's the story of Harry and Meghan and the racism that is part of their decision, and the fact that some people would deny it. I believe racism had something to do with it. It's just human nature. She could have been just pure white American, but there's still some people who won't like that. They will deal with her based on her being a white American, just straight white American, or Spanish, or wherever she's, if she's from somewhere else. There's always going to be a judgment about others. That's what we do. So she used to be an actress. She's an American, and her mother is black. Oh yeah, that just makes it. That turns up the judgment. It amazes me that people want to even say, "No, that has nothing to do with it." What? Anyway, I just want to highlight some of the things that I've been observing. There's this whole thing in UK about Brexit, and so much happening in Ireland, so much happening in, was it Taiwan? And people, it's just voting, protesting. There's the war, there's things going on. People are worried, people are concerned. There's the politics. There's mass media. There's so much that we, even if we don't watch the news or don't read the newspaper or move through it on social media, everything is energy. So whatever is put out there, we catch it on some level. You may be interacting with someone who's listened to a news about something, about their country, their neighborhood, their president, their leader, their prime minister. There are people in Australia mad at the prime minister over there, how he's handling the fire. When you interact with someone who got a bad news because they paid attention to mainstream media or wherever they got it from, they might come to you and come incorrectly. And you're like, what's up with all this attitude? I'm just trying to be all loving and peaceful. And they're not trying to hear it. Then, yesterday, I stumbled upon something my dear friend and mentor, Reverend Deborah L. Johnson, wrote. I call her Rev D. Most people call her Rev D. So to say the full name, I have to slow it down. And she wrote about killing the officer in Iraq and how America is going about it. And if you know her, you know that she brings things in a way that she just makes it very plain. You get to choose how you're going to be. And I look at what she wrote, and it's like, yeah, I understand that. I am grateful that someone is speaking this truth. It didn't make any difference that I know her, because there are many things that I read that where people are speaking the truth as opposed to the lies that sometimes fed us under the package of breaking news. And one of the things that was surprising for me, I shouldn't have been surprised, but I was, that there were many others who were killed. Of course, when there's an explosion, there are other people, sometimes the innocent, get taken out, and it's called collateral damage. Just part of the process. So I found out there were 10 others who were killed. What was surprising about that for me was, so I say this as somebody who watches the news, maybe 3 or 4 times a day. in a week, probably, if you put it all together, an hour, maybe. And I read some things that come through on my phone. I don't know if I say especially, but when there are major things going on, I tune in. And sometimes I just turn the television on and see what's happening, what's going on in the world. And one of the great things about being in the UK is you get to find out more about what's going on in the rest of the world. In America, you just mostly hear, well, depending on what you're listening to, but generally, in America, the mainstream media over there will just tell you what's going on in America and a little bit of what's going on. Here, you can have 1 minute, 2 minute devoted to what's happening in other countries. China, Ethiopia, stuff like that, which is great for me. I never heard that there was more than one person that was killed. You may have heard it, I don't know. But what it did for me was highlight the lies and the controlled news that we're often fed. And then so we are fed a certain kind of news we believe is true, and then we live our life. Well, I wouldn't say live our life, but there's some people who stand by that so-called truth. And it's not just the mainstream media. Don't get me wrong. We do it in our lives. We get half an information, just a little bit of information, and we make it true. We now make a judgment based on half the information that we have. We don't have the whole story. And as I read, and I think what I'll do is I'll put a link of Rev D's expression in the description. As I read that, it made me think of a song that was written in 1975 by Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes. And I think Teddy Pendergrass covered it too. And I want to share the words. I mean, as I was really reading what Rev D wrote, I don't know if I was sad, angry, upset, but I was feeling something. I was feeling, really, when are we going to get it? The things that are happening that we can say it doesn't need to be happening. The things that are happening now that has happened before and is still happening. There's abuse in all forms. Abuse of children, abuse of men, abuse of women, abuse of people, abuse of power. So as I read the post that Rev D shared on Facebook, I thought of this song because I've always heard it and I loved it. Because even the song Heal the World, I remember when I first heard it, I was in Nigeria. I think I was a teenager then. Maybe that. But something about that song touched me so deeply. And some of the words, I didn't even know what they were saying. Not because I didn't understand English, but it's because I didn't understand how they were saying it in a song. There's some songs that I still like today and I don't know what they're saying. I have to go Google the lyrics. But the older I got and I realized what they were saying, it's like, oh my God, heal the world, make it a better place. For me, for you, and the entire human race. And we hear songs like that and we're inspired and we are moved, but yet we're still doing some fuck shit. Who's we? I'll let you decide. So the song lyrics, here it is, by Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes. Google it if you don't know it. And even if you do know it, Google it and listen to it. Written in 1975. I'm going to read part of it to you. Wake up, everybody. No more sleeping in bed. No more backward thinking time for thinking ahead. The world has changed so very much from what it used to be. There is so much hatred, war, and poverty. Wake up, all the teachers. Time to teach a new way. Maybe then they will listen to what you have to say. Because they are the ones who's coming up and the world is in their hands. When you teach the children, Teach them the very best you can. The world won't get no better if we just let it be. The world won't get no better. Change it, yeah, just you and me. When I hear songs like this, when I hear songs like Heal the World, Make a Change, it touches me so deeply. I have such a passion for humanity to a fault. And I say that it's to a fault. Now, I'll tell you what the fault is in a minute. And sometimes I wish I don't care so much. And my caring for the world, for humanity, has led me on a path where I forget myself. I forget myself and I focus on others. And then on the journey, the path to remembering who I am, my spiritual journey, my journey back to myself, I encountered teachers who shared the importance of being on purpose, who shared the importance of discovering what you love. And when you do what you love, you never work again, and you do what you love and money will follow. And of course, at the time when I didn't have money, I'm thinking, so all I have to do is find what I love. All I have to do is find my purpose, and my whole life will change. It was very good to hear that because it kept me moving forward. Along the way, I realized it's not one-sided. It is a dance. That along the way, do not neglect yourself. Don't neglect yourself as you express what is great about you. And in fact, it's not just about neglecting myself. It's more about loving my humanity, loving myself even while I'm making mistakes. Accept the fact about things that I'm struggling with. I mean, radical acceptance. Like, I'm struggling with this. Money is one of my greatest teachers. It keeps me on the path. It comes and goes, and sometimes I have to wait. Sometimes I feel I can't do what I want to do because I don't have the money. I hate it when I feel like that because out of one side of my mouth, I'm saying God is all there is. There's abundance everywhere, but then I'm struggling to birth an idea, to get an idea out. However, what I've learned on the journey is to love that process, love the frustration, love the back and forth and trying to figure it out. And because I can be real with myself, allows me to be real with others. And it took me a while that if I can sit with my own mess, I can be a messenger for other people. I was trying to run from my mess. I judged myself by my mess. I thought I wasn't enough because my life was messy. At the same time, I have a call. I have something calling me from deep within my heart to speak, to share, to teach, to inspire. So there were times when I didn't have money in my bank account. I haven't eaten, and I'm doing a workshop or doing a radio show, and I just can feel myself become somebody different. And then after the workshop, the radio show, the reading, whatever it was, I'm back to, well, now what am I going to eat? I don't have enough money to put gas in my car. All that has brought me to this point. And I'm really trying to keep this podcast short, but I don't know. I just got to let it be. So what Rev D wrote led me to the song, and I listened to it. And I look to the state of the world today. I'm like, we still don't get it. You can call that a judgment. I'm okay with that. I feel in this moment we still don't get it. I question my work. What is the point of inspiring if people are just going to do what they're going to do? And one thing that I've come to realize is it doesn't matter what I believe. It doesn't matter what I teach. It doesn't matter what I say. It doesn't matter what anybody says to us, tell us to do or don't do. We are always going to do what we believe, whether we agree with it or not. But because there's some things we disagree with, but we believe that is true. So it doesn't matter. People are going to, what matters is what people believe. They're going to believe, they're going to do what they believe. They're going to live what they believe. And until they shift, until I shift, I'm going to keep doing the same thing. So, waking up this morning, doing my spiritual practice, and planning for the 10-week creative transformational online class that I'm doing, which has also helped me. You can find out more about that by going to my website, lifecoachade.com, and click online classes. Vision with Action. Starts on the 23rd. Is a 10-week process to going within and uncovering, recovering, discovering the dreams, the desires of your heart, the vision for your life, and going through the process. We're going through it together, and we get to recreate our life, our individual life. And what do we want to create in this life? How do we want our life to be? How do I want to show up for my children? How do I want to show up for my family? How do I want to show up for myself? So there's a lot that's coming up, and it's all the point I'm trying to make. And I was going to tell you about that, and I will remind you again. But the point I'm trying to make is, I know I got to slow down. Got to slow down. There are times when I'm teaching a class, doing a particular, I download a topic, I hear it to do it for a radio show, for a podcast, or whatever it is. It's like, what is it? You teach what you need to learn. And I'm seeing that even more so than ever before. When I did the online class, the how to break, I don't even remember what it is. What's the name? The one I did. Who am I asking? I'm asking myself. How to break free of the fear of feeling stuck. No, how to break free of the habit of feeling stuck. I was excited about it. I love to teach. There's different fears that came up around different things that I had to work through, that I had to push through. There were negative thoughts that came up that I had to be with and confront. And the people who participated had a great time. They left with something. And for me, I had a major breakthrough. And now I'm doing Vision with Action, and it's basically taking it to the next level. It's causing me to go deeper than I've ever gone in my life with myself, because I'm putting something out there in the world. I'm inviting people to come on a journey with me, and I'm broadcasting it, saying this is what I'm doing. It is challenging the fuck out of me. It is bringing up habits, energetic patterns, belief system that no longer work for me. That's not true, that I was holding on to. So this morning, I don't even know what I was listening to, what I wrote, but I got very clear that I am going to do whatever the fuck I want to do. To some extent, I've been doing that. And I also don't know what that looks like, but every day I'm going to remind myself, I am going to do whatever the fuck I want to do. And I had a conversation with my father this morning. Wasn't antagonistic of anything, but there were some things that he was saying that are no longer true for me, or things that he was saying that was, in a way, forcing me, causing me to speak my truth, whether he agreed with it or not. Wasn't trying to be combative or nothing, just telling my truth. Like, yes, I hear that, but this is what I see. And even when I aligned with the idea that I am going to do whatever the fuck I want to do, I felt myself being light. I felt liberated. I still do. And what I was receiving was, this is what we all must do. Do whatever the fuck we want to do. Now, I know that could be taken in different kind of ways. I'm speaking to you And you're listening to me because you are of this same frequency, the same vibration, the same consciousness. And people will say to you, well, if everybody did what they wanted to do, there'll be chaos. First of all, you don't know that. We have never known of a lifetime where everybody did what they wanted to do. There was always some kind of control. There are people who are doing whatever the fuck they want to do. And what I know for sure, it is time to do more of that. Because the only thing we have control over is what we do or don't do. So I'm speaking to doing the things that light you on fire. To live the dreams, to take more risk, to make a difference. Not because you hear me say it, because you feel it in your heart to do it. And when you don't feel like making a difference, you don't. When you don't feel like agreeing with somebody's mindset, you don't. When you don't feel like going, yeah, I understand, to somebody's bullshit, you don't. And if for whatever reason you feel like agreeing with their bullshit, so be it. For whatever the reason is, you can say, well, I had to agree with them because that's how I keep the peace. So be it. You know, those of us in the Western world, we got liberties, we got privilege, we're free to express, to have this kind of conversation. When you become fully and wholly yourself, you show up in a way that influences people around you, because then you're summoning pure energy of who you are. Your energy is focused. You, me, we are no longer wasting our energy trying to please this person, do this thing, be this for one person, be that for other people. Yes, there are going to be some times where you're going to modify maybe how you're showing up in certain situations, not because you're not being true to yourself, because that's what it calls for. Just like if you're passionate and happy and excited, if you have a baby, a child that's sleeping, you're not going to say, oh, well, I don't care if my baby's sleeping because I'm always passionate and expressive, so I'm just going to talk at the same level. No, if a baby is sleeping, keep the voice down. Even in your excitement, you might have to go out the house like, oh, I can't hold it. I'm about to explode. I got to let this out. In this space, we can live the consciousness of unattached attachment. So I, let me speak for me because I'm really want to make that very clear. I am in a place right now that I am unattached now to some of the things that I've been holding on to that I want to see happen. I am unattached to things that I really believe will transform my life. I am unattached to the things that are causing me struggle, yet I am attached to them. So my attachment to them, there's a sort of unattachment to it. It's like, okay, I'm going to give it everything I've got and see where it goes. This or something better. What is in your heart to do? What are you making excuses for? What are you holding back to do? What truth are you feeling in your soul, but in your mind you feel like it contradicts what one of your favorite teachers or many of your favorite teachers has been saying about life? Whatever it is, do it. Try it. Express it. Experiment with it. Every teacher is here to inspire you. They're here to inspire you to access your own inspiration and to live your own inspiration, to tap into your own creative genius. Because when you don't live by your own inspiration, you end up being mad and frustrated, angry, upset, pissed, projecting your shadow onto somebody else. It's so easy to see our own flaws, our own fault in others. So how do we change this whole thing that's going on in the world? Maybe we can't. Maybe we change it by being the very best example of what we know is possible. And when we are practicing unattached attachment, then we're not so constricted, ornery about it. We're living from a place of, I don't want to say bliss, a place of easiness, gracefulness. If we know about racism in the society that we're living in, then what would be the ideal in your eyes? How do you want people to be? How do I want people to be? Then I need to start living it. I need to be an example of that. I need to be an example for me, not for the world. Be an example to myself of what I know to be true, what I know to be compassionate, loving, and understanding. If I'm worried about some prime minister, some president, and what they're doing and how they're abusing power, I need to be an example of not abusing my own power with myself, with my loved ones, with my children, with my nephews, with my grandchildren, with my nieces, with my uncles, with my aunts, with my neighbors, and me being very aware that I don't abuse my power. And when I do, because I got caught up, first of all, I could forgive myself and recognize I could have been different. And then maybe express that to them. The best I believe we can do is be the place where God gets to reveal itself. There was this, I guess it was way before hashtags. What would Jesus do? Well, maybe it's time to start asking ourselves, what would unconditional love do? And even when I fall, unconditional love is still there. When you fall, unconditional love is there to help you heal and help you find your way, help you get back up again. What would unconditional love do? Unconditional love will continue to love in the midst of racism, in the midst of war and poverty, injustice, oppression, all the isms, sexism, racism, name it. It will continue to love. And when you know what love is a healer. Love is a harmonizer. That's our challenge. And I'm saying this, and it sounds like, because it is, but no, it's not. It sounds like I'm telling you what to do. You don't have to do it because I'm telling you. I'm sharing what I'm feeling right now. So call it wrong, call it who does he think he is, whatever. This is all about him. I really don't give a fuck. This is what's in my heart to share right now. And yes, I am aware that I've dropped the F-bomb so many times, and when I do it, I'm like, oh, don't say that. I don't give a fuck. Fuck it. I'm done fucking my life up by trying to be a certain kind of way or trying to impress people while I'm trying to show people, inspire people to be themselves, being you, the journey back to yourself. And I'm stuck on the way back to myself. Or I'm stuck on the way back to myself because I'm holding such a vision for humanity. And I'm thinking, people are just doing what the fuck they want to do. I'm sure you get this. I don't live my life like that every area of my life. It's just moments. Things show up. And for you, it's not like we do this on a daily basis, or we might do it on a daily basis. But some areas of our life we might play small and other areas will show up. For me, this is all about integration, integrating, and not even trying to avoid being judged and crucified and criticized. Fuck it, yeah, you're right. That's me. There are things about my life that I don't like. Yep, I'm not happy about it. There are things about your life that you're not happy about. Yeah, okay. Own it, claim it, accept it. radically accepting who we are, how we are, and radically accepting the way the world is. Until we radically accept the way the world is right now, we can't be about the solution or the answer. We can't be about the vision that wants to be birthed. And accepting it doesn't mean you go off on a tangent judging it. And as I said, it may sound like I'm judging some of the things that's going on in the world. No, I'm sharing my point of view, what I see, and I'm speaking my truth about what I see. We see what we see, we feel what we feel, and we decide who we are going to be. Are we going to be based on what we're seeing in the external world, or are we going to tap in and live from the inside out? What would love do right now? When I'm judging somebody because they're on drugs, what would love do? When I'm judging somebody who's alcoholic, what would love do? Yes, this is coming up. I'm going to say it. When I'm judging someone for being abusive, what would love do? When I judge a leader, a president, a prime minister for being oppressive, for misusing of power, what would love do? When my life looks jacked up, what would love do? When I allow myself to be abused, used, oppressed, what would love do? For me, this is all about where I'm at now. I'm practicing the unattached attachment. I'm attached for love to reveal itself. I am attached for people to be caring and loving and compassionate to one another. I am attached to having leaders who are leading with love and compassion and conscience. I am attached for us to be different about the elderlies. I am attached to, wherever we are in the world, whatever country that we invest in each other's well-being. I'm attached to that. And I'm unattached to if it happens or how it comes about. Because it's bigger than me. My attachment means I do what I know to do, to be the example. My unattachment is not to expect other people to do the same thing that I'm doing. My unattachment is recognizing that some people are going to do something contrary to what I'm saying. I'm not attached to that anymore. And I will do my best to not be influenced by that. And if I am influenced, I will just accept it. I'll bring myself back to the center. And I'm talking about myself, and I'm also using myself as an example. So you can listen to me as if you're listening to my life story. You might say, damn, he's pissed. What happened? Or you can feel what I'm saying, and you can see where that is showing up in your life and decide how you want to live your life. Don't have to do it like I do it. Now is the time for us to live the truth. If we believe in an all-powerful God, all-powerful presence, power, a power that is everywhere evenly present, that is all-knowing, then the gift we can give those who are coming behind us, whether that means our children, our nieces, our nephews, cousins, is to be an example of that. When what we think, what we say, what we do, when all those are in alignment, there's nothing that needs to be said. Your presence, your beingness speaks for you. And life will respond. Your life will reflect that back to you. Now, I'm done. I'm complete. For now. Well, I'm complete based on what I wanted to do to record this podcast. which I'm actually recording much earlier than I used to. I publish it on Wednesdays, and I usually record Tuesday. Today's Monday. And when you're an artist, we all are. But when you claim it and own it and accept that you're an artist, you know that the inspiration, the creative ideas come at any time. Sometimes they come just before you go to sleep. Sometimes while you're driving and you have nothing to write with. And I was even toying around with maybe wait till tomorrow because I might have more ideas. No, fuck that. Do it now and let tomorrow take care of itself. And I feel the part of me that wants to say I apologize for using all the F word. I know. I do in the sense that if it rubbed you the wrong way, I apologize. And yet I don't. I apologize in the sense that I'm honoring and acknowledging the part of you that may be triggered. That you listened to me and what I said caused you to feel uncomfortable. That's my apology. The part of me that's saying I don't apologize is I'm giving myself permission to speak my truth. And recognizing that you have the choice to either continue to listen or not. I'm not mad at anybody. I'm not even mad at myself. I'm not mad at the world. I'm speaking my truth as I see it. Heal the world, make it a better place for you and for me. It's time to wake up. But you don't have to do it. I'm just speaking my truth. Because whether you do it or don't, what is more important is how I am living my life. Yes, I get inspired when I see people doing things like they're caring for humanity, other people's well-being, and being more loving, more compassionate. Being caring, being kind. And at the same time, I can't wait. I don't need to wait for others to do it for me to feel that, to be about that. I invite you to try it out. Live your truth, whatever that is. And if you're interested in going deeper, I've been talking about this creative transformational journey, aka online class, Vision with Action. Go to lifecoachade.com. It is about living our vision, living the dream, living the goals that we have, like manifesting it. And even more, to just give ourselves permission to fully be ourselves, to break free of the bullshit, to break free of limiting thoughts and behaviors and belief system. The world is really our oyster. It's up to us to do whatever we want to do. And there are people doing some things that we don't like, but they're doing whatever the fuck they want to do. We have Trump doing whatever he wants to do. We have the Republicans doing what they want to do. You have the Democrats doing what they want to do. You have the Conservative in UK doing what they want to do. You have Labour doing what they want to do. The whatever. All the parties doing whatever they want to do. And even though it might be packaged as like, well, no, we're doing it for the people. The British people, the American people. It's packaged. It's packaged bullshit. Not all the time. Because every truth can be misinterpreted to be a lie. Especially when you start analyzing, get logical about it, say, well, what does that mean? And what about this person? What about that person? And people can actually say you a lie, to tell you the lie long enough that you start believing it is true. How do you know the difference? You listen to your heart, you listen to your soul, you listen to your gut, you listen to your intuition. You do the spiritual work you need to do so you know yourself. So you have a personal relationship with the divine, with God, with whatever, Father, Mother, God, Source, Energy, Divine Intelligence, whatever name you want to call it. You have agency. You have authority to live life according to the yearning of your heart, according to the desires of your soul. So anyway, If you want to join me on this journey, Vision with Action, go register. lifecoachatA.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being part of my life. Thank you for being there for me to feel that there's somebody there listening. And for those who gave up, or if you did, or you're not hearing this part of it, but I'm speaking to the ethers, those who said, I can't take this, it's too much crap. I'm not trying. I'm trying to raise my vibration. It's too heavy for me. Wherever you are, however you are, thank you. And I'm grateful for my family, my friends, virtual friends, people who walk this journey. People who give me feedback about my work. There were times when I craved it. There were times when I needed to hear it. There are times where I'm just grateful because what I'm sharing touched them and it came for them at the perfect time. And if you think what I've been teaching, sharing is nothing, thank you for being there, for the contrast. Life is good, it's getting better. And I'm grateful for this moment. I'm grateful for the opportunity to speak freely. And I join with you as you access that part of yourself to be free. To be free to be you. To show up for your life. I love you. I bless you. I appreciate you. And I thank God for you. And as I release this conversation, enjoy John Stringer. You are welcome here. You can find out more about his work by going to his website, johnstringerinc.com. Life is meant to be lived. Live your life unapologetically. I'm still feeling what I feel, and I'm going to just be with it. And I thank you for being here to listen. Peace and blessings.
Be who you are, let your light shine.